Ôi à, ôi à. Oh. Okay, so greetings everyone to online meetings, online event, LinkedIn Connect to Careers today with us. So we're very grateful that you all showed up on time, and we're very sorry for this technical issue. Okay, so this event is an event to help you build your LinkedIn profile, develop a personal branding, and help you develop your skills, and therefore increasing the employability, and also make you become more competent in a labor market. So accompanying with us today is Miss Iman. She is a recruitment consultant of Western Sydney University in Australia. So she's here as a guest speaker to guide you, to help you, and really give you some small advice to improve your LinkedIn profile and everything. So give us a big applause to begin the event, or you may drop your most favorite icons to the box chat to say hello to other students. Bravo. So we will have a small activities here at the beginning, and I will show you a survey with 2 questions, and you will answer me the questions about why do you use LinkedIn and do you have a LinkedIn account. So due to some connections, it's gonna take a while for me to launch the poll, so please wait for it, and you will have 3 minutes to answer the questions. Okay, just a few more seconds. Oh, and in order for better interaction, please turn on your camera and set the background that we've sent you through the emails. Give it a few seconds. Can you see the poll on the screen? Guys, can you see the poll on the screen? If it's a yes, please press number 1 in the box chat. Okay, so now you will have 3 minutes to answer these 2 questions. Okay, and then hey, a lot of people are answering questions now. The clock is ticking, so if anyone haven't answered it, Okay, so if anyone haven't answered it, please answer it quickly. I'm very looking forward to see your answers. Could you please all turn on the camera and say hi to everyone? Like say hello, because this event is not only about LinkedIn, it is also a networking event, because you can also ask for other participants their LinkedIn to connect to each other. It's gonna be an advantage if your LinkedIn account has a lot of connections. Yes, make some friends, okay? Okay. 1 more minute. Thirty more seconds. Please turn on your camera and set the background that we have sent you through the email. Okay, 50 more seconds. Okay. Those who've just joined the Zoom, please answer the two questions in the survey. Okay, I will give you some time to finish it. We currently have 80 participants and have answered the surveys. Okay, I will end the poll now. Have you seen the result on the screen, the result of the poll? If it's a yes, press number 1. Can you see the result of the poll? If a yes, okay, thank you. So you guys all have seen the result of the poll. According to our result, 92% of the participants has already had a LinkedIn account. Okay, it's a really good signal because you guys gonna learn a lot from this workshop than people who haven't had a LinkedIn account yet. Okay, so most of you using it as an online profile in order to the recruiters what you have currently had as an online CV. So in this event, we will be able to learn more about how we can use LinkedIn as a tool to improve your skills, enhance your employability, and other interesting tips to use LinkedIn too. So now I will stop sharing these things and give the spotlight to our guest speaker, Ms. Iman. So Ms. Iman, please start the discussion of the event.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome everyone. I'll just share my screen. Here we go. It's great to be back and to see you all today. And thank you to those of you who are going to be listening to the recording later. Welcome to all of you as well. And yes, today's topic is LinkedIn, following on from all of the other great conversations that we've had already and the different sessions that we've had. As you can probably remember, the last one that we touched base on together collectively was our resumes. And we decided to follow that one up with LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile works with your resume. And other career documents like your cover letter, for example, and they all go hand in hand to help you to land those interviews and start paving the way to those different jobs and opportunities that you're trying to land respectively. So really, really important. We've got lots to get through today, and we're going to jump straight into it. Just a fun fact here to start off with. I wanted to let you all know that there are currently more than 900 million people utilizing LinkedIn around the globe. So that's a lot of people that you immediately have access to that may have similar qualifications, recruiters, employers, graduates, a whole range of different professionals, groups, and so on that you can start to tap into and start to access from today. So we're going to learn all of the different ways that we can do that. We've already done the poll. Thank you very much. I can see that lots of you already have an account. So it's not just about having an account or profile. Now we want to understand how we can maximize our presence there and how we can start to gain lots of exposure and tick off all of the boxes. And then most people have chosen that they were utilizing it for an online profile, but there's lots of other things that we can use LinkedIn for, which we'll come to throughout the session today as well. So first of all, what is LinkedIn? It is a social networking platform. It's for professional development. It's a fantastic tool for your career development. It's a great avenue for you to be able to invest in yourself as well as your career and start actively working towards all of those dreams and goals that you have set for yourself. It essentially works a bit like a permanent ad that you have there working, marketing you, showcasing everything that you've done, highlighting your career trajectory so that people know where you've been, where you're currently at, and also most importantly, where you are heading as well. So touching on those career aspirations. And it's also a channel via which you can start to connect with people who could potentially hire you or refer you to respective positions as well. I also wanted to alert you to the fact that there's been a big shift and change in the market trends. Once upon a time, the onus was all on you to try to have a really strong resume and get that resume in the right person's hands so that they can go through your resume and cover letter and then hopefully call you in for an interview. Now, obviously that still happens, but because of social media platforms and sites like LinkedIn, the onus is not just on you to get all of that right and to do all of those things. There are recruiters who are constantly on LinkedIn looking for people to connect with, looking for prospective graduates and prospective candidates and everyone to poach, to bring across to their companies and to the different organizations and things that are out there. So that's been a big trend, a big shift in the trend as well. And we want you to be aware of that so that you can start to tap into that also. Alrighty, we're going to just do a quick activity here before we move on. So I'm going to ask you all to please open up your chat if you haven't already done so. And in the chat, please do feel free to share your LinkedIn URLs with one another as well and connect with each other as we go. But what I want you to do is, whoops, that's the wrong one. Sorry, we're not up to that one yet. This one first. So what I want you to do here first is to click on this second link, the Mentee link, and I want you to just brainstorm some different reasons why you can or should use LinkedIn. Okay, so just pop in different responses there. You can submit multiple responses. As you submit them, we'll all be able to see them on this screen here. I'll give you all a moment to do that. Just for the first activity, why use LinkedIn? Why should we use LinkedIn? Good. Showcase your experience, to build connections, to find opportunities, to sound professional, to make friends, because it's easy to connect. Good. To find jobs. For learning, absolutely. Well done. What else can and should we start looking at and thinking about in this space? To catch up with people, good. Keeps you in contact with everyone, lets you see what they're all doing and where they're at. For personal branding, absolutely. You can develop and establish your own professional as well as personal brand. Good. to create personal profile, to look for specific jobs, to network, to get advice, for relationships, good. Fantastic. And to store your CV, your resume, absolutely. Showcase that career trajectory that we were talking about before also. Well done. Great. To self-market, good. Promote yourself and okay, well done. Thanks, everyone. Just going to jump back over here. Thanks for participating in that. So that, as you can see, there are lots of different reasons why we can and should be utilizing LinkedIn. I've popped some of them into the infographic on screen for you at the moment. So you can and absolutely should start expanding your network. We'll be talking about networking. It's a great avenue to find mentors, coaches, people to guide you and support you at different intervals in your career trajectory. It's a great avenue for you to showcase your knowledge, skills, qualifications, the different experiences that you have, paid and unpaid. It's also a space for you to collect endorsements as well as recommendations, for you to be able to engage in learning, continuous upskilling. It's a great avenue, as people said, to market yourself, to start getting noticed, to let people even know that you exist. You can find and source opportunities, and you can also conduct informational interviews and get additional insight into specific careers and occupations and roles therein. Just a reminder, if everyone can please keep themselves on mute, you will have opportunities to ask questions later on as well. Thanks, everyone. So some of the things we're going to be looking at today is the profile, things to include, things to do in your profile, how to stand out, how to build that employer credibility as well. And then also moving into networking, how to be strategic in the networking space and build those referrals and everything from there. We're also going to look at endorsements as well as recommendations and how important they are on LinkedIn. We're going to look at how to use LinkedIn as a search engine to find not just jobs, but work experience, internships and things like that, even if they're unpaid. And also going to look at how you can upskill and engage and invest in yourself and your future through LinkedIn Learning, and also how you can connect with groups and professional associations and attend events and all of those different things to essentially build a really strong portfolio that will work with your resume and your cover letter and all of those other components of your online application as you apply for respective positions. I also wanted to point out that in some of the slides, you will notice that there's a bit of extra text and things there. I have made it this way on purpose. I'm going to be sharing all of these slides with you. And what I want you to do outside of today's session is, as you are improving your profiles and as you are referring to the respective sections, I want you to refer back to the slides and really look at the information, the links, the resources, the stats, whatever it might be that I've included for you, because all of that's going to help you to build a really strong profile and to be able to maximize your presence in LinkedIn also. So I just wanted to put that out there. But as you can see here, I've got some really important stats for you. You can see how many people are using LinkedIn globally. Right. And then I've also broken that down to give you an indication as to how many people are using it here in Australia, where I am. So you've got about 13 million people on LinkedIn at the moment here. And over there in Vietnam, we have about 4.2 million people that are using it. So Vietnam's starting to come to the party as well and realizing the importance of this really active employer space. And then you can also see the age brackets. So a lot of people in Vietnam are between 18 and 34 that are utilizing it. And there's lots of other information and bits and pieces there. So you can see there's heaps of recruiters on it daily. 90 jobs are getting posted every second. That's a lot of positions that you can access. And 8 people get hired through LinkedIn every minute. So their success rate is pretty high as well. And then there's heaps of companies that you can connect with. They've got offices in different languages, you know, they're located around the world globally. And then I've also included here some stats around what can get you better engagement and encourage more people to look at your content. So including things like videos and images and stuff will get you more exposure, and sharing some different types of posts will also attract more attention as well. And then you can also see who are the most followed accounts, both of professionals. You've got Bill Gates and Richard Branson are the most popular too. And then you've also got the groups, the pages. So Amazon is now the leading one, followed by Google, and then you've got TED conferences and so on and so forth. So I will send you, as I said, all of that information for you to unpack in greater detail. Now, with regards to the profile, your profile is essentially your job advertisement, your place to market yourself, to self-promote, as some of you indicated in that mentee activity earlier. It's a space for you to showcase who you are, what you've accomplished, what qualifications and skills and experience you're interested in, and your aspiration, like a personal storyboard. So you get to tell people about what it is that you're hoping to achieve, and it gives that complete representation of you. Now, I'm encouraging people, before I move to the next slide, to just pop some responses in the chat, because I want you to keep interacting with us as well, and just start brainstorming in the chat and let me know, what do you think are some of the differences between a resume and a profile? What are some of those key differences between a resume and a profile? Pop those into the chat, and then I'll move on to the next slide in a moment as well. There are similarities between the two, but then there are also some differences. What do you think some of the differences might be? Yeah, the length, absolutely. So on your resume, you are very restricted. Remember, we said that we aim for 2 to 3 pages for a graduate resume in most instances, unless you're an academic or something along those lines. But with your LinkedIn profile, there's absolutely no limit to the length. And you can do extra things on your profile that you can't do on your resume. Can anyone think about what they may be? Yeah, your resume can be more formal as well. Yeah, absolutely. And the purpose is a little bit similar in both instances. You're both trying to utilize those different spaces and avenues to land jobs and respective opportunities. Okay, so what I've done here is I've highlighted some of those key differences. So on your profile, you're still going to capture your experiences and your power phrases and your career objective and your career trajectory, essentially. But you can go one step further with your profile that you can't in your resume. You know, in your resume, you can say, I have these skills, you know, but on your profile, you can actually have other people verify the skills that you have through the endorsements and recommendations and skill assessments that we'll talk about. So that builds credibility, because it's not just you saying that you're good at something, it's all these other people vouching for you and saying, yes, I've worked with this person. Yes, I've seen this person in action. They're really good at these hard skills and these soft skills. So that's one of the differences there as well. What you can also do on your profile is you can embed links. It acts as a portfolio. Your resume, you can't do that. You're limited with space, with the length. So you can't necessarily be putting, you know, videos or images or infographics and links and hyperlinking things everywhere like you can in a profile. So that's another key difference there too. Yeah, and the use of imagery and media and so on. So that's just some of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention about the differences between the two. Now, with regards to your LinkedIn profile, there are lots and lots of different components and things that I want you to start thinking about and embedding if you haven't already started to do some of these on your profile. You've got the profile picture, the background or cover photo, you've got your find the summary pronunciation tool. You can actually record the correct way for people to say your name. And I know that this is a problem with lots of people across lots of cultures. The way that you read someone's name is not necessarily the way that you say it. So you guys face that problem. I face that problem sometimes, you know, so some people might think that my name, for example, is Iman, and I've had all different sorts of things, but then I can record the way to say my name on LinkedIn, and that way people, before they even connect with me or meet me or interview me, would know, oh, the correct way to say her name is Iman. And then what you can also do with that pronunciation tool is you can record a quick quirky message or something that you want. So that's another key feature that you might like to utilize. Then there's the endorsement skills and strengths, and we're going to go through those as well, and skill assessments to build that credibility. Same sort of thing with recommendations. You want people to be able to vouch for you and all of the amazing things that you can do. And then we go through the experience, your different services. There's power phrases in each of those sections. If you've published anything, you can include your publications, work samples, you know, your vlogs, your blogs, whatever it may be, all of that creative stuff. We're going to network with professionals and groups, engage in LinkedIn learning, and then we want to ultimately create a really strong portfolio through all of these things. So we want to create a stellar profile, get noticed, and tap into that hidden job market. Your profile picture is really, really important. Last time when we were talking about resumes, I said to you that generally the consensus here in Australia is not to include a photo on your resume, but over there in Vietnam, it's encouraged in a lot of instances to include it. So that's different in the resume space. But on your LinkedIn profile, the photo is really, really important. So I've put information for you here to help you get your photo right. Some people go and get a professional headshot. They pay someone to take their LinkedIn profile. You don't have to do that. If you follow this advice, follow these tips when you get the slides and you go through it in greater detail, you don't actually have to go and spend money to get a great photo, a professional photo that's going to work in your favor. Just use this as a checklist to ensure that you're doing what is expected so that you can be perceived in the professional proper way. And then utilize all of this information to tell your story. Just a reminder again, if we can all please keep our microphones on mute. Thanks, everyone. With regards to your experience, you want to use your resume as a guide, because a lot of the time we forget. We do different things and then we forget, especially if time passes by, you forget that you did an internship here, or you did some, you know, work experience through school or through the university or through your own initiative. So always refer back to it and keep these documents very active and updated as you go along. What you can also do on LinkedIn on your profile that you can't do on your resume is you can actually link the job or the experience to the company. And then you can connect with people that work at that company. So if you work at Western Sydney University, you would put that in your profile, and then it will start recommending all of these other people that work at Western Sydney University that you can connect with, that you can start to broaden and expand your network with when you're doing all of those other things that we talk about. You also want to be very clear, concise, and specific, just as we said with your resume previously. Use power phrases, start with action verbs, get straight to the point. You have to do the same sort of thing in your profile. So just because you have more space doesn't mean you're going to bore people with chunks of text and too much information. You're going to still master the art of saying a lot without actually saying a lot. And as always, your spelling and grammar is really, really important. Another really beneficial thing in the LinkedIn space is that it has keywords and it has search engine optimization. So what happens is it starts to get a feel of who you are, what you're interested in, what sorts of things that you like, and it will start to make recommendations for you. So this will help you as you're applying for respective positions or as relevant opportunities come up, it will make these suggestions. So always think about this also. Now, with regards to networking, we don't just want to create a really impressive profile and have all of our experiences and everything in those sections. We really want to utilize this LinkedIn space to network with professionals as well as groups and professional associations. So we need to remember that there's access to millions of people. As I said to you earlier, 900 million people currently utilizing this space. So what you want to do is connect with as many people as you can and be very strategic and target people who are pursuing similar qualifications, similar specializations. Target people who are working in similar roles that align with your end goal, the occupation you want to work in, or people that are working at a company that you're dying to work at. You really want to work at this company. You really want to work in this country or this city, right? Start using this as an avenue, as a gateway to get your foot in the door. What we don't want to do is just click connect, 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 connect. Okay, same sort of thing when you go on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. If you just send random connection requests to people, the likelihood of people connecting with you is little, right? Most people are going to ignore you or just leave you hanging. And you don't want that to happen. I want you to think about yourself. When you get all of these random connection requests, you probably don't just jump to accept all of them either. So what we have to do here is master the art of being strategic in our connection request and send a message. So tell them why you want to connect with them. So it might be that, you've noticed that they have a similar area of specialization, or, they're working at a company that you hope to be working at one day. Give them some sort of incentive, some common ground, make it meaningful, and tell them a little bit about yourself because it's very limited space, and entice them to want to connect with you. So it might be, for example, that you met someone at a conference or you met someone online. I enjoyed our chat. Good luck with your projects. Let's keep in contact. Okay. They're more likely to accept the connection if you do it that way. And we're going to come back to that activity in a moment, which I shared the link to earlier. So I'll reshare that in just a second. But what I want you to also think about with your connection requests, I'll share that now. There we go. Is not only to make it meaningful, but you can sometimes offer a favor. So it might be, I really enjoyed working on our group project at university. Would love to be able to connect with you on LinkedIn. Or it was fantastic meeting you at the training that we did on campus, or something along those lines. So make a meaningful connection and then send the request. Or it might be that you worked on a group activity with someone and you notice that you are really good with the particular skill. So maybe you have amazing Excel skills and they're really good at something else, creating videos or doing something else. So you might offer a favor. You might say, I'd love to be able to do some skill sharing with you. It can be something along those lines. Or it can be that you're seeking advice, or that you just would love to be able to connect to learn from them, or to be able to do an informational interview. You can talk about the events as I showed you in that previous example. So there's a whole range of different approaches that you can take, but you want to make it meaningful. So what we're going to do is, before we move along, I want you all to click on that Padlet link, and once you've clicked on it, double click anywhere on screen here, and I want you to actually have a go at writing a connection request to someone. So you might be on LinkedIn in the background and you might have seen, okay, well, there's this particular person working at this company. I'd love to be able to target them. Or it might be that you're targeting a Western Sydney University student who studied a similar qualification and is working somewhere now. So an alumni, a graduate. Or it might be that you just want to connect with someone that you kind of already know, but you don't know them that well. So you're just making that sort of connection from there. There's an example on screen from a student. So keep it short, keep it concise, but you want to entice them to want to connect with you. So make it meaningful as well. Pop that into the Padlet link by double clicking anywhere on screen. Once you have typed, you'll get the option to publish. And then you can publish your response, and then we'll all be able to see it there on screen. I'll give you all a couple of moments to do that one. Excellent. So we've got some people here as well already. Good. So you've been very specific there. You've identified the interest in their work and the fact that you want to keep connecting with them. That shows someone, that you are you have that growth mindset, you're keen, you're taking initiative, and you're very professional. So a professional would look at that and view that as, yes, that's the kind of person that I welcome. That's the kind of person that I do want to connect with. Well done. So always look at their headline, look at their profile, look at whatever information is accessible, try to find common ground, and then write the connection request accordingly. Remember just to keep it brief, don't make it too long or lengthy, because there is a limit. You can't write them an essay. Feel free to pop them in there so that I can just have a look and give you some feedback. And then the idea here is once you get that connection request, you don't leave it there. You start to engage with them, you start to follow them, you start to comment on different things, interact with them. And as you build and establish rapport with these different people, what you then want to be able to do is to ask for what we then want to be able to ask for is an informational interview. So with regards to your informational interview, that's where you would ask them for a quick chat, over Zoom or over a cup of coffee, for example, if you were both situated or located in the same sort of place. And then you would find out about their career trajectory. They would tell you a little bit about their qualification, their experiences, what it's like working at this company in this particular role, what they encourage you to do, what they don't encourage you to do, so that this person gives you that industry insight and really important information. And what happens as well is they then know that you exist. So they become a part of your network, you become part of their network, and they can start to refer you. So they don't just refer you and put in a good word to other people, but then they can also tell you about different opportunities because of the initiative that you've taken. So they can be like, oh, Jane, she was fantastic. She, I met with her and she's studying a relevant qualification. She's actively, doing some courses and different things. I think she'd be fantastic for our company. So what happens is that you start to get poached. You start to tap into that hidden job market. You end up at the top of an interview list for positions that you didn't even know existed because you're strategically starting to network with people and tick off all of these right boxes. Really interested in product management. Figured out you are a great talent in the field. I hope that I can play you. Good. Okay. Excellent. So yes, that's what we want to keep doing, trying to find common ground, being very specific about, mutual interests, mutual specializations, and so on, or connections, whether you've met them or things like that in person, reminding them about where you may have met them as well, because they meet lots of people all the time, and then engaging with them. So even when you go to a careers expo or an industry event, go back and then connect with those recruiters that you meet. Send them those connection requests and remind them, it was great speaking to you at this event. It was great meeting you at this particular expo, right? So that, again, they can be enticed to want to connect with you as well. Good. Okay, so keep them coming. I can come back and check on your progress there soon. Well done. Okay, so I don't want you to just target professionals, but just on the note of professionals as well, I also want you to think about, graduates, people that have graduated from your university, as well as, Western Sydney and other places. So really look at the alumni, because they can also be a link for you into these different positions and different companies in Vietnam, in Australia, or globally. So don't just, focus on professionals, so to speak. Target those new grads and current students as well, and network with each other, because you're all going to end up in different places. So you'll be part of each other's network in the future. Then I also want you to think outside of the box and start targeting groups. So looking at different groups, looking at professional associations, looking at things in the business space and within business. If you're looking at accounting, really focusing on some accounting professional associations or accounting groups, in Vietnam, in Australia, or wherever you are hoping to work one day, and joining those groups and having an active presence and contributing information, insights. If you go to an event, come back to the group and share some key takeaways, because that's how you start to capture people's attention. And what happens is there's always recruiters who are in these groups looking for people. They're looking for students like all of you, ready to poach, ready to connect with them. So when they see you doing all of these things in a creative and insightful way, they're going to come and start targeting you. They're going to start referring you. So that's another way for you to capitalize on the strategic networking via LinkedIn. With regards to your skills, you don't just want to mention that you have different skills as you do on your resume. You can go a step further on your profile and you can list different skills, and you can have people endorse skills. But what you can also do is take a skill quiz. So you can do timed quizzes, and then you can get scores, and then it can actually verify that, yes, you have these particular skill sets and these are your strengths, right? So again, people can see that when they're trying to recruit and they're trying to find the preferred candidate. So I've linked here some different ways for you to go about it, how to access the skill assessments, how to take the skill assessments and the benefits of doing so, and then how to showcase that in your respective profiles as well. But what you want to also be doing is targeting people that you have worked with, whether it's at university on group projects, volunteering, internships, even paid jobs and so on. You want to request and reciprocate. So you want to ask people for endorsements, but you also want to give people endorsements as well, so that they can build their credibility and you can build yours. We help each other in this place, in this space as well. So start finding different ways for people to endorse different skill sets for you, encourage them to do so, and allow yourself to build that competitive edge and gain that competitive edge in this manner. So these are some of the ways that it can appear. You can have that skills and expertise, and then it can appear with, you having lots of user experience, or your Photoshop skills, for example. Lots of people might be able to verify that your Photoshop skills have been amazing, because you have a side hustle, or you have a small business, or you're doing something on the side and they've seen you in action. So all of this means so much more to me than you just telling me that you're good at Photoshop, because then I can see 18 professionals that are telling me how amazing that you are. Okay, so that's the kind of things that we also want to embed into our profile. And then same sort of thing here, you can highlight different components of industry knowledge. So within this marketing space, you can showcase your journalism skills, your copy editing, your writing, so people can see, what are you really good at? What are your strengths? And so on. Oops, sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, 1 second. As I hyperlinked everything for you, so it's just taking me out to that link. So I've hyperlinked the images and everything as well, so you have everything accessible after the session today. The other thing is recommendations. So the endorsements are different to the skill assessment, and the recommendations are different to all of those. And I want you to start thinking about tapping into all of these, because all of these are going to build an amazing profile. So what you also want to do here is think about, okay, well, who are some people that I've worked with? Not just in the degree related roles. It might be at a job at McDonald's. It might be at a job at a bubble tea place, right? It can be a small business. It can be a family business, anywhere. Think of these professionals and people that have worked with you, and don't be afraid to ask them for a recommendation. What happens is this becomes like a reference, a positive reference for you. And then they'll be able to, again, verify and vouch for the different skills and experiences and the amazing work that you've done and the impact that you had. Okay, because this, again, is going to impress recruiters and professionals and anyone viewing your profile, which will essentially open up new doorways and new opportunities for you. So here I've listed some of the different people you can ask for recommendations from, even your peers, even with each other. As I said, when you work on different group projects and things, you can ask for recommendations. And I find that a strategy that is really helpful in this regard is if you went and did an internship, right? You write a recommendation for someone, write a recommendation for your supervisor, okay? And then what happens is once you've taken that initiative, people then also want to reciprocate. They're more likely to want to return the favor and write a recommendation for you in return. So also use that tactic to give endorsements, to give recommendations, write recommendations, and entice people to want to support you and write them for you also. And again, I've also hyperlinked here some great examples of recommendations so you can see what sorts of things you can write and what sorts of things work really well. Now, with regards to LinkedIn as a search engine, you can and should be using this space to find a whole range of different opportunities. You can specifically look for jobs, just, jobs working in the accounting space, finance space, something like that. Or you can look at specific companies like KPMG or PwC or whoever it may be, and start targeting those companies and seeing, okay, well, who are some people working at these companies? And then start sending those meaningful connection requests to them. You can look according to location, you can look according to company, you can look according to expertise and experience level. There's lots of different things that you can select. And then it will start to get a sense of what you're looking for through that search engine optimization, and it will start to make recommendations for you. You can also turn on the open candidates feature to let people know that you are actively job seeking. Okay, this doesn't mean that if you're not job seeking that people won't still come to you if your profile is amazing and you're networking and you're doing all of those awesome things, because they won't care if you're already working somewhere. They'll still try to bring you over to a better job, a better company, a better position, and so on. All right, so just keep all of that in mind as well. Now, the next thing that I want to bring to your attention is LinkedIn Learning. So I'm going to show you a video, and then I'm going to show you, and I'll come back to these as well. Well done, everyone. So I'll show you a very quick video about LinkedIn Learning. And then after the video, I'm going to show you how to find some really good courses and the benefits of doing them also.
More. That's the message LinkedIn Learning has for individuals and organizations. Our goal is to help you and your employees discover and learn the skills needed to be productive and successful through a highly personalized, data-driven, engaging learning experience. LinkedIn Learning combines 3 core elements: diverse and high-quality content, personalized curation, and anytime, anywhere convenience. But it begins with content. Our content covers topics employees must have to be successful and topics organizations need to engage, develop, and retain top talent in today's competitive job market. Courses are taught by industry experts, all with real-world experience. Our business library covers courses on leadership and management, talent management, effective communication, strategy, and career development. Our technology library covers in-demand topics, including programming, infrastructure and operations, data science, and networking that are critical to software engineering and IT managers. Our creative library covers topics for CAD and creative professionals, with an emphasis on design and staying on top of emerging trends and technologies. In addition to our diverse content, Unique insights from the world's largest professional network allow us to create a personalized learning experience for you and your employees. With 450 million member profiles and billions of engagements on LinkedIn.com, we have a unique view of how jobs, industries, organizations, and skills continually evolve. With this data, we can identify the skills you and your employees need and deliver expert-led courses to help attain those skills. These same insights also empower managers or L&D professionals to easily identify and recommend the most relevant content to their teams and employees. Today's workforce has more competing demands for their time than ever before. To help make it convenient to learn anytime, anywhere, our mobile apps for Android and iOS allow you and your employees to take our industry experts everywhere, including offline. We're proud of our courses and our platform, but mostly, we're proud that millions of people will acquire the skills needed to be more productive and successful. With LinkedIn Learning, we're introducing a revolution in learning and an evolution of you and your organization.
Yes, you're definitely closer than you think. So that's a really good video, and you'll be able to watch it again if you like, because it's hyperlinked in the slides as well. And then what I wanted to also show you, just on the topic of LinkedIn Learning and upskilling, is how to actually go about these courses. So I know as stage 2 student, if you come to stage 2 and you're with us here, if you are a current stage 2 student, then you would have access to this free of charge. But there's a way around it for those of you who aren't. And that way is for you to subscribe, because you get the first month free. Okay, so you can subscribe, and you can do some of the different courses, and then you can choose to cancel your subscription. Right? Usually it's about $50 if you want that premium access and you want to be able to access everything, and that's month to month. So you might do it for a couple of months, or just at different times when you feel like I have some time to upskill, and then you can cancel that at any time and just keep your free profile. Now, once you go to the LinkedIn Learning, you are then able to search for relevant courses. So I just put in here a general search for business, and then it will show me all of the different things that align in that whole business world and that business space. But then if I was to be studying a specific skill, right? If I wanted, for example, within the accounting, you know, I needed, hang on, it's not going to come up like that. Or let's try for, a specific skill for engineering, for example. I could just type in AutoCAD, and then it will give me all of those design skills and courses that align with that. Okay. Or it could be that I want to, or I need to improve my skills in Excel. That's a hard skill that lots of different companies, lots of different roles and things rely on. And not everybody has really good skills with Excel. They know how to use the basics. Right? So you can do different courses, and the courses are very different here. That you have some of them that will take you less than an hour, and then others that are very intense and details that'll take a couple of hours. Right? So you get to go through, decide which ones you want to do. You get a badge for completing them. You also get the certificate of completion, and then people will be able to see on your profile what you have completed and what you have done. And this will demonstrate to the recruiters that growth mindset. It showcases that you're a lifelong learner, that you're strategically doing all of these extra things in addition to the qualifications that you have or that you're currently working towards obtaining. And these are the sorts of things that are going to help you get that competitive edge and to stand out. You know, you're going to have more things to put under the heading of work experience. You're going to have more things to put under the heading of certificate and training on your resume, because you are accessing these tools and these services and showing people that you're actively learning. And don't try to do it all at once. You know, spread it out, do it on a weekend, do it here and there when you don't have too many assessments, but be very strategic. So what I would encourage people to do is, you know, do an actual search and see, you know, within something that you're studying, and, you know, can someone pop their study, their course or their specialization into the chat? Let me know. What is it? Give me a few so that I can just search something that aligns with that. What are some of you specializing in or hoping to work as your end goal? Okay, so let's do finance as an example. That was the first thing that I saw. So if I was to search here, finance, remember I showed you this site in one of the other workshops. So you could be a finance broker, or you might want to be a finance manager, or you want to work towards getting to that management level later on, whatever it might be. What I just want to bring to your attention is the skills section. So once you go in here, it'll tell you how to actually get to that manager level and what sort of experiences and degrees and everything you need. You can do this for any occupation. But this section here is where I can start to think, okay, what are recruiters specifically looking from me if I am moving into this finance space? Okay. And then I can start looking at, okay, well, financial reporting is going to be important. Analytical thinking is going to be an important soft skill, because we don't just want hard skills. I need to do courses and things to build my hard skills, but I also need to build those soft skills. So you want to look at both, leadership, analytical thinking, managerial accounting, and then go back to the LinkedIn learning courses and then search for some of these. So I would go back over here. Oops, not there. Where am I? Here. No, sorry. Here we go. So we'd go back over here, and that's where I could type in just general finance and see all of the different things coming up for finance. Or I can also see their recommendations, see how it's showing me options for finance and accounting. There's 193 course results, corporate finance. I could look at personal finance, or I could be very specific and go back over there and look within finance. What are some of those specific skill sets that I need to work on, and then start developing them? And then what you also want to do is look at the position descriptions. So for the jobs that people are advertising, look at the skills that they're mentioning and listing, and anywhere that you identify that there are some gaps. I have a little bit of knowledge of this, but there's room for improvement. Go back and focus on that and make that the priority, so that you can demonstrate that you're learning and doing exactly what it is that they're looking for, so that they consider you and target you when they're calling people in for those interviews. So I just wanted to show you a bit of that with regards to the LinkedIn learning. Let's just jump back over here. Okay, and some advice and things before we come back to some more conversations together as well. I want you to do everything that you can to really build a stellar profile. Go through the examples. I'm also going to have lots of examples for you of good profiles and what you should be putting in each of those sections. So go through them, access everything that's hyperlinked and also in the resource section. And make sure that your profile isn't left incomplete, because those incomplete profiles have less people connecting with them and less people targeting them. So always try to update all of the information throughout. Always try to embed the different sections that we've spoken about today. Connect with recruiters, not just professionals and alumni and companies and so on. Follow groups, join groups, contribute to discussions, start discussions, really take initiative. If people send you connection requests, respond promptly, connect with them. You just never know where those connections can take you and who could potentially be your next supervisor or colleague and so on. So there's lots of different things here, but also turn off any activity if you are updating your profile or you're trying to change lots of things around, so that people don't, view it whilst it's a mess and whilst you're making all of those necessary changes. And then some of the things not to do, you don't want to be pushy. You don't want to force anyone to connect with you. You don't want to send generic requests, and you don't want to leave people hanging or lock down or limit your profile too much or anything like that. And just also be mindful of how you engage and conduct yourself with those group discussions, because as I said, there's always people observing and monitoring, including recruiters. So always be very, very professional. So these are some links to lots of different profiles, highly impactful LinkedIn profiles, as well as profile summaries, as well as profiles that are following best practices. And then what I've also included for you guys here are lots of resources around each of those different things that I've spoken about today. So how to actually amend your URL, how to create a profile that literally will rock and, you know, do all of the right things. There's a short course that you can do via LinkedIn on that as well. You can also look at the summary stuff. You can look at networking links and the official blogs, and there's guides for everything, assessments, skills assessments, and so on. So everything is there for you. And then what I want you to do, I know I always give you challenges post these sessions, so today's no exception. I'm giving you some challenges today too. I want you to build and develop your profile and portfolio further and really take on board all of the information. Once you get the slides, refer back to them, go through the links and everything. I also want you to start to strategically network and think, okay, what's my end goal? What specialization do I want to pursue? Where would I like to work? You know, and really start to connect with people and groups to support you to make this a reality, because it can absolutely be a reality if you work smart, not just hard. Then I want you to start searching for jobs, searching for different opportunities, paid and unpaid, so that you can continuously try to gain additional skills, you know, in a face-to-face capacity, in a remote capacity, so that you keep strengthening both your resume as well as your LinkedIn profile. And I also really want you to spend some time upskilling. So really try to do as many of those LinkedIn courses as you can, some of them general that align with your industry, but then also be very specific and do some that target specific hard skills and specific soft skills that you need to work in that area of specialization. And always refer back to position descriptions, see what everybody's looking for, see what recruiters are targeting, so that you can target those specific skill sets and courses accordingly. I'm just going to share another link here as well to the feedback form. I would love to hear from each of you. They're anonymous. You can add your name if you choose to. I'll just pop the link into the chat. There it is there. So again, just double click anywhere, share some feedback, and then publish. Always happy to hear from students, and I'll just jump back over here and see if there were any that I have missed, and then we will definitely now move into questions and answers also. Thank you, everyone. Thanks very much for listening to all of that. I know it's a lot to take in, and that's why I've tried to hyperlink and include lots of extra things for you in the slides, because, you know, you're not going to perfect your profile straight away in a 1-hour workshop, but it's just to help you get started, to expose you to all of the important components to help you take it to that next level, and to provide you with all of the links necessary so that you can really start to invest in yourself and your future accordingly. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Miss Eman,
Yep.
I have some questions here from the participants that we have collected beforehand when they fill in the registration forms. So I will read them for you right now, so you can answer some of them for everyone in here. So the first question is how to describe your experience in an outstanding way on LinkedIn.
How to describe your experience in an outstanding way on LinkedIn. All right. Well, with regards to your experience, remember your experience is divided into different sections, whether it's on your resume or your profile. You are going to have paid experiences and opportunities, but you're also going to have those things that you did in an unpaid capacity, like an unpaid internship, virtual internships, placements, practicums, and so on. And then there also might be some volunteering experience. You know, you might be a volunteer at your university's clubs or societies, or at a local, you know, religious group or fundraising group or community group. Okay, so all of those come under the umbrella of experience. And what we have to remember when trying to demonstrate anything under the umbrella of experience is to use strong power phrases. So for those of you who haven't gone or attended or watched my resume workshop, I'm going to just remind you to do that here, because I did share a nice vocabulary of different words to help you build some really strong power phrases in that particular event. So please revisit that one and view it. But what you want to do is you want to start with an action verb for every job, every position held, and you want to be very, very specific and measurable. So for example, if you facilitated an event like you did today, some of the students helped us facilitate this event, you would be very specific and say, facilitated a LinkedIn learning workshop or a LinkedIn workshop for who were the students. You'd mention the students, you know, stage 1 and stage 2 students, be very specific. And then you might then also mentioned via Zoom or whatever, a power phrase. So that way you're not just showcasing your key responsibility and what you did in a role, but you're also showcasing your impact and your ability to do a variety of different things. So that's why you mentioned, you know, apps and software and specific numbers. And you might mention that there were, you know, more than 50 people who attended live and, you know, over 200 people that registered that will view the recording later or whatever it may be. So again, being very specific and measurable in each of your power phrases, that's how you're going to be able to really showcase your experiences on your profile and on your resume. Okay, so really, really important. It's all about those power phrases.
Thank you, Ms. Ines. I have another question here on the list. So if anyone has any question, don't hesitate to type in the chat box. And while we're waiting you to do that, I will ask some questions here that we have collected before. So the next question from our guest speaker is, how can I create an attractive profile during my first year in university? So as you know, that first year university hasn't had anything yet to put on the LinkedIn profile, experience, achievements, and so on. So how can we build from the scratch everything?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Another good question. So what you want to do here is remember that you have access to the LinkedIn Learning, and that's going to be your first starting point, right? There's nothing stopping you from the very beginning of your journey to start to upskill in this way. So the more courses and things that you can do via LinkedIn, the more things that you're going to be able to put on your profile. So that's definitely one of the things that I encourage you to do. You can do those LinkedIn learning courses. You can also think back to things that I showed you, like those virtual internships and things that you can do online that can also support your career, because then again, you know, you don't have to go anywhere. You can acquire these different skill sets and then have other things that you can then mention on your profile along with your resume. Another thing that you can do is volunteer. We spoke about that in your resume, in our resume workshop too. So you can start thinking about different places where you can go out of your way to volunteer, to gain skills, to start, you know, tapping into different industries, getting your foot in the door, networking and all of those different things as well. So that's another avenue there. And then obviously, as you do things through the university, so if they send you to get some practical experience, then obviously you'll add those at different intervals too. But please don't feel like you have to wait until you get to the forced experience to start building an impressive profile. You can start doing all those other things from today. Okay, so start doing the upskilling through the LinkedIn courses. You can start doing virtual internships as well. And then you can absolutely start volunteering from today too. That's going to help you fill in some of those gaps.
Thank you, Ms. Iman. We have a question in the chat box now from Min. Should we demonstrate specific grade score when showcase skills results from academic courses?
Okay, so when you're talking about your education, you don't have to put your grades or your GPA. So this is a personal choice, a preference. It's completely up to you. You do need to mention your degree, the qualification, and the institution where you're getting the qualification from. But then it's up to you what you list therein. So, for example, if you are studying a business degree, but you're majoring in finance and you want people to know that you have undertaken, some subjects in finance, you would list those subjects in finance, and you might list that you've got some credits or distinctions or high distinctions in those specific subjects. Okay, but that's up to you. You might have a really good GPA, right? And you might want to show that off and let people know that you're a very dedicated, hardworking student. So again, it's up to you to include that if you would like to, but you do not have to. It varies from person to person. Some people include it, other people omit it. It's entirely up to you. And same sort of thing from other qualifications. So if you've done some further study or some other things, not necessarily from university, but you've got additional skill sets, additional certificates and training, you can make mention of the courses and things that you've done. You don't have to mention the grades or anything for those either.
So here we have next question from HàNH Lam. How can I get virtual internships when I have just a few experience, and where can I have that opportunity? Thank you.
Okay, so I will show you. This is one site where you can get some virtual internship experience. Forage is a site that's accessible from all over the place. And what you would do here is just create an account first and foremost. And then once you've created an account, you need to select your areas of interest. So I noticed that some people said that they were interested in finance, for example. You've got accounting, you've got engineering, you've got all these different areas here. So from the drop-down menu, I could go to finance, and then it will tell me at the moment how many different types of virtual internships are accessible through this site here. So I can see that there's quite a few. And then what I can then do is just like the LinkedIn learning courses, because I want to do both. I want to try to get lots of different types of skills up my sleeve. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to think, okay, well, within finance, what am I interested in? I don't just want to just do whatever. Okay, I want to have a plan. I want to think about my end goal, but I also want to do some job searches and think, okay, well, if I want to work in these companies, what are they showing me in their position descriptions? If I can see, for example, that the role is going to have a lot of investment banking in it, that might be where I start. I might come back here and decide, okay, well, I'm going to do a virtual internship in investment banking, and I might choose to do the one at Citi first of all. Okay, and then I can see here that it's going to take me up to 5 hours to complete this virtual internship. I don't have to go anywhere. I just need access to the internet and I need a device. I complete it, and then when I complete this, I will get two different things. I get a certificate and I get a badge, and then that can go on my profile to strengthen my profile. But then I can also mention this under the heading of work experience on my resume, because then I can say that I've done the investment banking virtual internship at Citi. Okay, so this fills in gaps, and it builds your resume and strengthens your resume at the same time. And then what happens as well is, say, for example, you decide later on that you want to apply for a job at Citi. They're going to see that you've done the virtual internship, and they're going to give you extra preference. Okay, so they're actually going to be more impressed by your application than other people's applications, because you've taken the time and energy to do this, to complete this, because these big companies have put this learning and this insight and this experience into place. And then you can also use this to leverage those connections on LinkedIn. So you might complete it, and then you might go and do a search for Citi on LinkedIn, and then you might find all these people working in investment banking, and then you might be interested in some of them. You'll see which ones resonate with you, and then you're going to strategically target some of them. And you might say, okay, I just completed the investment banking virtual internship. I loved it. I would love to be able to connect with you, and use that to leverage that relationship. Okay, so really be strategic And then this will also help guide your career trajectory, because sometimes you think you want to specialize in something, or you think you want to do something, but it's not until you start getting experience that you either realize that you love it or you hate it. Okay, and if you don't like it, then you want to make that realization sooner rather than later, so that you can test the waters and find something else that you could potentially specialize in. So none of it will be a waste of time or wasted opportunity. But if you realize that you didn't really enjoy investment banking, then you can move into a different area. Okay, I can go down here and I can see, okay, well, what other areas in finance could I potentially look at? You know, perhaps I want to look at sustainability. You know, that's something that's on the increase as well. Maybe I want to look at asset management. Okay, maybe I want to start tapping into the marketing space, you know, market sales and trading, right? So being very, very strategic and going through it all that way. And remember that you can do this for a whole different range of industry specializations, as well as personal development and professional development, just to build some of those other skills as well.
Thank you, Ms. Amen. So we will answer 2 more questions, and then we will go to the closing of the event. So should we put the work experiences that are unrelated to my dream career on LinkedIn, such as part-time jobs?
Absolutely. So this is something that I mentioned in the resume workshop as well as LinkedIn. Please don't make the mistake of leaving opportunities and leaving experiences off your document or your profile, thinking, oh, nobody cares if I worked at McDonald's, or nobody cares if I did this particular thing because it doesn't relate to my degree. They absolutely do care, because this is where you can showcase soft skills. They're transferable skills. So even working at McDonald's, right, still shows how you built your communication skills, how you beat leadership skills. Maybe you were a team leader there. Okay, it shows all of these other amazing skill sets that they're just as interested in. So please don't leave off any of those experiences from your profile or your resume. And not just, I mean, include the part-time, include casual jobs, and even those volunteering jobs, as I mentioned earlier as well. Paid and unpaid.
Okay, thank you. So the last question of this event, should I post letter of recommendation from my teacher on LinkedIn?
Yes, so on LinkedIn, you need the people to write the recommendations for you. So definitely, yeah, you can get them, as I said, from teachers, from supervisors, from colleagues, from friends, from mentors, from coaches. Try to gain a range of different recommendations from different professionals and individuals, and same sort of things for your endorsements. Try to have different people endorse different skill sets that you have. Some of them endorsing your soft skills, some of them endorsing your hard skills, so that you can showcase holistically everything that you have to offer and everything that you can potentially bring to the table.
Thank you, Miss. So this is the end of this event. The last question has been answered, and I really hope that you guys have learned something or have something for yourself to improve your LinkedIn profile and to kickstart your dream career. And we have a feedback form here for our guest speakers.
Yeah, so please, I'd love to hear from all of you. It will take you like 2 seconds to complete the form. So just click on the link and then double click anywhere and just let me know, you know, what were some key takeaways? What did you learn? What did you enjoy? I'd love to hear from every single one of you. Like I said, you can put your name. You don't have to put your name if you don't want to, but feedback is always very much appreciated and very welcome as well. And I did also share my email address. If anyone happened to have any questions or needed to reach out, then you can. And I will also send my slides to all of you so that you will be able to access all of these amazing resources. And then you'll be able to see and view, you know, different profiles and great examples of the different profiles. You know, what are people including? You know, what's helping them stand out? How do they go about it? And then you can also start to look at people working within your industry. So if you are majoring in finance, when you start connecting with people in finance, look at what they're including on their profile. Look at other people working in that same space and then get ideas from them, because everybody has different specializations, different areas of interest. So I want you to really think about what you want to showcase and how that's going to help you achieve and accomplish your goals.
Thank you very much for your sharing with Miss Iman. So it's great to see all of you guys here, and thank you for spending the time and attend our events. So before we end this event, let's take a picture together, okay, to recap this moment. Okay, so guys, please turn on the camera, set on the background, give us a big smile, and say hello to each other for the last time before leaving. Okay, guys, 3, 2, 1. Guys, open the cameras, open the camera. Cheese. Open the cameras, guys. Open the cameras. Cheese. Open the cameras. Okay, 3 more seconds. Open the cameras. Cheese. Okay, thank you guys very much, a lot. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thanks,
so
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye, thank you.
The slides and the recording will be sent to your emails. Okay, so wait for our message. No need to worry. We will send all the materials to you guys later.
Yep, I'll just post it back in there for you. Just give me 1 minute.
If you guys have technical issues, we will send Miss Iman email through your email to you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oops, sorry, hang on, that's missing a letter. Wait. There you go.